Welcome back to another rendition of reacting to ridiculous fragrance TikToks. If you guys don't know, fragrance TikTok is the land of cursed content in the fragrance world. Usually videos are quite weird. However, in this rendition, I'm going to try to find some videos for you guys that are not too strange. We're going to keep it tame today. Hopefully this video doesn't get too crazy. Let's see how we develop.
My wife and I just celebrated our 14th wedding anniversary. Slow clap for her. God love her for putting up with me for so long. Anyway, we got each other fragrances and I wanted to share with you what we got each other. Atrium Fragrance Mr. Maritime. This fragrance was done by TikToker Atrium Fragrance. And I saw Florida Fragrance Guy talk about it, and the way he described it sounded very good. So I asked her to get this for me, and she did. And I am glad she did. This deserves its own review, so I'll be back talking about this in the future. This has an awesome mango note.
We've got 9 videos to react to. Let's start off with something hopefully relatively normal. What the hell did I just watch? Okay, now, in fairness, he looks fly at the end there. I like his outfits, but what the hell was that at the beginning? He sprayed his perfume into a beer pong cup and then poured it into his iron. Now that iron is going to stink of that fragrance forever for the rest of time. You can't use normal water now. And I guess the idea is when you're dampening your clothes with your iron, you're spraying your clothes, you get some of that fragrance in there as well. That is a crazy hack. I am not going to retry that for you guys. That is something I do not recommend. Well, unless you have loads of several different irons you want to use. You have one iron for each eau de parfum you like to use. That's going to get very expensive. I do not recommend this tip that he's recommending here. I mean, the caption is, Cologne is a silent introduction to your presence, a way to leave a memorable impression. Why did you have to put it into your iron though? Why can you just leave it as you applying it at the end on your neck? You could apply it onto your clothes as well directly from the bottle. It feels very unnecessary.
Don't buy this. Here are 3 colognes you need to avoid.
I respect this video straight away. I see he's got Nautica Voyage in his hand. I hate that fragrance. I don't hate it, but I think it's just overrated and overhyped in the community, even for a cheapie. I'm the quality over quantity kind of guy, so I say avoid these synthetic, tacky, cheap fragrances and just save up a little bit more.
For one, Nautica Voyage. Cheap synthetic scent that you're gonna get bored of in 2 weeks. Instead, get Versace Outrage.
You know, he's spot on. I actually did get bored of Voyage really quick. And although Mano Fresh is another cheap and also synthetic fragrance, I agree with him. I think it smells more interesting than Nautica Voyage. Not as easy to wear maybe, but I still slightly prefer it over Nautica Voyage. I always say Mont Blanc Legend Spirit is my preferred alternative as a cheap summer fragrance to Voyage. In the UK, like Nautica Voyage is £15 or 20 bucks, and then Mont Blanc Legend Spirit is like £25, 30 bucks. So I think the difference in price is really incomparable compared to the difference in quality. Legend Spirit is much, much better in my opinion.
Number 2, Spice Bomb Extreme. The longevity is no longer what it used to be. Instead, get Bulgari Man in Black.
That's a great recommendation actually. So I've heard that Spice Bomb Extreme, the longevity has gone cut down really hard. I'm hearing reports of like 4 to 6 hours when it used to be like 12 hours, really loud. That's really unfortunate it got reformulated like that. So Bulgari Man in Black is not as loud as the old Spice Bomb Extreme. It's more of a classy, boozy, spicy fragrance with a leather note in there, a little bit of whiskey. I feel that it's the more mature version of the original Spice Bomb, but he's got the general gist of it here. I think it's a good idea. It's still very long lasting, about 10 hours. Bulgari Man in Black is too forgotten about. I think it's a fantastic, more mature man's evening fragrance.
Number 3, Azara's Most Wanted Eau de Parfum. It's good, but not great. Instead, get the Le Parfum. The scent profile is much more intriguing.
Now that's a bit sad. Okay, that last one broke my heart because I actually really like Azara the Most Wanted, but I'll give it to him. I have not tried Azara the Most Wanted Le Parfum. But that's just really sad because I feel like the Most Wanted is a really great clubbing scent right now. It's the best clubbing fragrance that's very easy and safe to purchase right now in my opinion. I would describe the Most Wanted as if Stronger With You became more airy, light, playful, casual and sexy for that clubbing environment. Hence why the Most Wanted for me, it's still a big recommendation, still a big yes from me. So why Le Parfum? I wasn't a big fan of. I felt it felt just a little bit too flat and forgettable. I think YEDP had more character. I think YEDP Intense is actually really good. One of the best flankers right now in that line. I'm not a huge fan of Le Parfum. So Myrrh and Tonka is a nice fragrance. It's a really simplistic, softly projecting, but high quality, sort of ambery, soft, creamy fragrance that is, as she says, unisex, quite easy to wear, just a really simplistic evening fragrance. A safe choice to start getting into the brand of Jo Malone. I don't like a lot of their fragrances, but this is one of their better ones. I remember smelling this a long time ago. I think someone just gave me a sample as a friend, just for free. And Opus, I think, was a bit forgettable. It was a bit soapy, clean, I think. It's just a very traditional British perfumery here. Penhaligon's house was really traditional style of theirs. And I don't remember it being the greatest longevity, but I might be bad in my memory. I haven't tried it in a long time. So Givenchy MMW, I've not really researched this one. Let's see the note breakdown. So I think this came from their niche collection, their private line of Givenchy, because I don't really see this that often. Looking at the notes here, a bit of cardamom, Palo Santo. This looks very woody. Isoe Super, a lot of cedarwood. It seems it might be a very dry pencil shavings like woody fragrance. Virginian cedarwood, I can say that it smells like dry pencil shaving. It's very, very dry, very, very woody. And Broxton gives a bit of a woodiness. Isoe Super is big woodiness. So I guess if you want like a minimalistic woody fragrance, this might be it. Palo Santo, I think, smells a bit smoky. So it just looks really, really woody. Maybe if you're a big fan of woods, you like this fragrance. Reminded me instantly of Piano Santal, a dry and woody sandalwood, quickly turning creamy and milky. Alike, but very forgettable compared to Gris Charnel and other milky, figgy sandalwood / creamy scents. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying this video so far and you watch our videos regularly, make sure you consider subscribing. I think our latest statistics show that about 29% of you who view our videos are subscribed, which is a shame because I would love for that number to go to 40%, guys. If you really want to help our channel grow and spread the word about our fragrance channel, then click subscribe. It really helps us to grow as a brand, and I really appreciate that, guys. Hey guys, apologies. So at this point of the video, the camera goes out of focus, which is super annoying. However, the rest of the video is still watchable. I didn't want to re-record this video as I wanted to keep the reactions as legit as possible. However, guys, I appreciate your patience this time around. We'll try to make sure this doesn't happen again in future videos. Thank you.
Stop applying fragrances like this.
Okay, now, first of all, let's pause right there. Why are his feet out and then censored? That is a crazy intro to a video.
A lot of you are slathering fragrance directly to the skin. Rookie mistake. Recall that fragrances contain alcohol that can dry out your skin. So I want you to apply lotion or Vaseline before spraying so you'll stay moisturized. Also, applying lotion or Vaseline improves the longevity of the fragrance. Let me know if you guys do this.
I feel like I just watched the how-to basic of the fragrance world. That was crazy. There's a lot of interesting shots in there. So yes, I guess alcohol is in fragrances that can dry out your skin, but it's not the same as, like, let's say you're a healthcare worker who uses really harsh soaps and alcoholic hand sanitizer all the time, frequently. That'll dry out your skin. I feel like fragrances you apply once in a day, it's unlikely to dry out your skin that much, but it's generally a good idea to moisturize your skin. And yes, it does increase the longevity of your fragrances a little bit.
If you're just getting into cologne, listen up.
FB Fragrances, one of my favorite influencers in the Australian part of the world.
Everything you need to know in under 1 minute. Every man should own 3 types of cologne. Something sweet for cold weather, something fresh for warm weather, and something luxurious for special occasions.
I think that's a solid take, yeah. Something fresh, something sweet, something for special occasions. Yeah, really good for first 3 fragrances. Although I will say that I think that applies more to young guys. As older gents, when you have to go to work, go to an office, if you're in the winter time, you still need something that's not summery like Mont Blanc Legend Spirit. You need something that's long-lasting, fresh, but it's a little bit more serious. So maybe you'd add an extra 4th fragrance for the office. Or instead of wearing something summery like Mont Blanc Legend Spirit as your fresh fragrance, you get something more robust like Terre d'Hermès, for example.
There are 2 main categories of cologne, designer and niche. Designer are brands like Versace, they focus on things other than fragrances as well. Niche, on the other hand, are brands like Xerjoff, and they only focus on making colognes. They're usually high quality and smell more unique.
So strictly, the definition of niche does not relate to if a brand makes fragrances only or makes other stuff. It relates to basically, is the brand creating fragrances that is deviating away from the commercial side of the industry. So they're trying to make fragrances that are a bit more nicheified. Only a certain niche of customers will enjoy it. It's not trying to sell as much as possible. That's generally the strict definition.
Spray cologne on pulse points. I like to do 5 all around my neck, never spray into the air and walk through it. That is just stupid.
Yeah, I agree with that. Don't spray in the air and walk into it. That's weird.
My favorite fragrance content creators and the ones that I think are the best are Comedic Sense, Fragrance Knowledge, Oda Ragnar, Bob the Sizzler, Marshall the Scent Addict, and Captain Fragrance.
Wow. I see how it is. Bro, I'm so sad. I'm so sad. My heart is broken. Although the scent marshal kind of looked like me, so I'll just pretend like, yeah, you know, that's kind of me. I'll put myself in there.
Finally, don't buy a bunch of cheap fragrances when you just start out because your nose will change, your preferences will change. In a year, you'll be stuck with these fragrances that you never even wear. I hope this helps.
That last point is so valid. I always say it as well. Just don't over-purchase too many cheap fragrances because, yes, as you said, you'll get into the hobby. It's a hobby that just sucks you in and you become addicted and you want the better stuff really quickly. So do not waste too much money, too much time, too much space in your room on the cheap stuff. So if you guys don't know what an NPC is, it's a video game term and a non-playable character. So there are people who give off the main character kind of energy, and then there are those people who give off non-playable character energy, those who just have scripts and don't stand out basically. So I guess you're saying these are fragrances for people who don't stand out. You know what? Okay, so CK1 Shock I think is a good cheapie, but it kind of is forgettable. Yes, I had it and I just gave it away very soon after because it just doesn't perform. It just smells very nice, but it does not perform. It's a very smooth tobacco fragrance. But it is nice, it's nice. But yeah, I kind of do think it's forgettable. Versace Eros, the original, I think is forgettable. Yeah, I'll say it. I think it is a bit of an NPC fragrance. Sauvage Eau de Parfum, I think is actually quite nice. It is Sauvage at the end of the day, but actually I think it's a lot more elevated and nicer than the Eau de Toilette. If you want to sacrifice a little bit of versatility and get a bit of that elegance in the Sauvage DNA. It's a really good concentration. I think I agree with 3 out of 5. The only 2 I don't agree with is potentially Moschino Toy Boy. I think that yes, teenagers can rock it, but you have to try it out first. It can be polarizing. It's whether or not you like rose. And then Pure Excess by Paco Rabanne. I've only ever smelled it in shops. I've always been underwhelmed. It sort of gives off this boozy Coca-Cola vibe, which I feel you can get a lot better from Guerlain's L'Homme Idéal Extreme. Much more elegant, classy, and cleverly blended.
He doesn't know yet what I will ask him.
And of course, how can we do one of these videos without having Jeremy feature?
Is it okay if I spray a fragrance on you?
I would prefer if you don't do it.
Okay. Well, I would have... That's funny. If this video goes viral, I would like that.
And looking at the number of likes, it did indeed go viral.
I would have sprayed Chanel Allure Sport Extreme on you, which is a very sexy, fresh fragrance that would suit you fantastically. Is it okay that I post this video?
Yeah.
That's good. Hey, for all of you teenagers, try this one. This is a sexy man's fragrance.
I mean, yeah, it's worth trying a Laura Mercier Extreme. That's valid. But that was just incredibly awkward. I felt that that young guy was just not having it. He was just like, no, you're not spraying me today. Strange white suit man. He was like, yeah, I don't know you. Maybe he did know him. But he was just very blunt. In fairness, I was quite surprised. I feel like if you know Jeremy Fragrance, he came up to you and was like, can I apply a fragrance on you? You'd probably be like, oh yeah, sure, for a video. But that young guy was not having it. That was hilarious to watch. It's such an awkward video.
These are the worst mistakes that you can make when buying a fragrance.
So Fragrance Adventures, I've actually talked to him by DMs, and I think they are an outlet in Australia that specializes in niche fragrances. I think Australia does lack a lot of those kind of stores, so it's great that he is bringing that kind of market to Australia. So it's really great. Go check out their website at some point. Their store is called Oligarch. They're based in Victoria in Australia. So if you guys are in Australia, go check them out. And their brand is called oligarch.com.au. That's their website.
These are the worst mistakes that you can make when buying a fragrance. 1. Listening to influencers and fragrance reviewers.
Oops, guilty as charged.
A lot of you go on YouTube and Instagram watching what these fragrance reviewers are saying about all the perfumes, then you're following their every word and making blind buys. That's a huge mistake. What you don't know is a lot of these fragrance reviewers are getting paid to say these things, or at the very least, they're getting sent free bottles, so you kind of don't know their honest opinion on it.
Now that is not right. If a fragrance reviewer gets a sponsored post or free gifts, they should always state it. I always try to do so. Maybe I don't always do it eventually. Let's say I get a bottle of someone, I try to mention it in the first few videos, maybe months on end, I may forget that it was gifted later on, but generally I always try to be transparent with you guys, because as you said, that's right, it does affect your opinion and your reviews. You always got to take things that reviewers say with a pinch of salt. Generally, it's always best to do your own research on top of what reviewers do, and also sample the more expensive fragrances.
2. Buying cheap clones. Look, I get it guys, getting into niche perfumery, especially the luxury brands, can get very, very expensive. But I want you to consider when you are buying these cheaper clone alternatives, these dupe brands, what you're paying for are fragrances that are just made up of very cheap materials, most of the time all synthetics, and you have to be careful because you don't know what is in these fragrances.
That is such a valid take. I always say don't get too many cheap clones. Most of them are tacky. Some of them are fantastic value for money, fair enough, but similar to what I said about cheap fragrances in general, don't get too many. And as you said, some of these brands are a bit questionable. You look at their packaging and you think, are they, are they following legal regulations? Are they actually, legitimate companies? That's what I always wonder with some of these brands. The big clone brands, maybe not, but some of them I do question their validity.
Because you don't know exactly what is in these fragrances, a lot of the time the ingredients are usually not even passed by IFRA, all the regulations. So buying these cheap clone alternatives could lead to bad skin reactions just like this. And the worst mistake that you can make when buying a fragrance is not testing it on skin. Being on the business side of perfumery, this is one thing that I want you guys to remember. When you're walking into a perfumery or an area where they sell fragrances, they've already had plenty of people walk in and out spraying the perfumes, so there's smells all around the air. It's going to affect what you're smelling. Then a lot of people grab the tester paper and spray it on that. You're getting just what the fragrance smells like on a piece of paper.
That's absolutely true. You need to put things on your own skin because everybody's skin chemistry is different. You will react with fragrances in your own unique way that is as unique as your DNA itself. So fragrances will smell different on your skin and they'll perform differently on your skin as well. Plus it lets you appreciate the dry down, how the fragrance develops, and it lets you know if you like the entire experience of a fragrance, not just the opening you're getting when you spray it on a piece of paper.
Everyone's skin holds fragrances differently, so what you need to do is test it on your own skin and wait. Give yourself a few minutes to see the dry down to see if you like it or not. The worst thing that I hear is when people run in to grab a fragrance and they leave, then when they're trying it on themselves, after 3-4 hours, they tell me that they hate the dry down. You've wasted $300-400.
Yeah, really valid takes. Make sure you check out Oligarch, guys, if you're based in Australia. And that concludes the video, guys. What did you guys think of the videos I reacted to today? Do you enjoy this series of me reacting to fragrance TikToks? Would you like to see more? If you haven't already, guys, make sure to check out our previous part on fragrance TikToks that I reacted to. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.